Since the early decades of the 20th century, the global mean sea level has risen by approximately 20 centimeters. This rise is not only continuing but accelerating. According to the World Meteorological Organization, in collaboration with the World Climate Research Program, the world faces an era in which sea level rise is certain to deepen the challenges to our coastal zones, infrastructure, and societies. This shift demands a futurist lens. Imagine a world in which sea levels have climbed by 1 meter or more by the end of the century. Though the exact amount and speed of rise remain uncertain, the trend is unmistakable. For mid-range scenarios, average global sea level rise by 2100 falls within the range of 0.4 to 1 meter, according to current models. In this emerging future, low-lying coastal cities and island nations become frontline theaters of transformation. Permanent inundation of the lowest-lying zones begins, flood frequency escalates, salt water intrudes into aquifers, and ecosystems buckle under steadily shifting shorelines. The WMO warns that adaptation will face hard limits as sea level rise becomes increasingly irreversible this century. The futurist scenario deepens further when we consider regional variation. Sea level rise will not be uniform. Some coastlines, due to melting of nearby ice sheets, subsidence of land, or regional ocean heating, will experience far greater rise than the global average. For example, shorelines in the western equatorial Pacific may see rates of rise up to 20 millimeters per year under certain conditions. Looking ahead through a futurist lens, we can sketch three possible trajectories. Moderate mitigation path, rapid emission reduction, stabilizing warming close to 1.5 degrees C, limits sea level rise to the lower end of projections. Adaptation succeeds in many places, though retreat may still be required in some zones. 2. Business as usual. Path, moderate to high emissions, warming continues unabated, ice sheets contribute large volumes of meltwater, and sea level rises near or above 1 meter by 2100. Many urban coastal zones are forced to relocate populations and infrastructure. 3. Worst-case trigger path. Catastrophic ice sheet collapse or marine ice cliff instability pushes sea level rise beyond 2 meters by century's end. In this scenario, entire nations of low elevation face existential threats. In the world of 2100, under worst-case conditions, cityscapes once thought permanent lie half-submerged. Coastal highways become dikes, former suburbs become tidal wetlands, and megacities invest in floating infrastructure or retreat inland. Small island states see their sovereignty challenged as land area vanishes. Some communities choose digital migration first, moving governance and culture into cyberspace as physical territory is lost. Beyond physical impacts, we face profound cultural and geopolitical shifts. Mass migration from flooded zones may become the norm rather than the exception. Land loss between 2020 and 2100 could reach millions of square kilometers, triggering waves of relocation affecting tens to hundreds of millions of people. Coastal defense arms races may develop as nations scramble to protect valuable shorelines. Meanwhile, insurance markets unravel, real estate values collapse in exposed zones, and new forms of climate governance emerge. The key takeaway for this future is that sea level rise is not waiting. The choices made now around emissions mitigation and adaptation infrastructure will determine not only how high the water rises, but how civilization adapts. This is not a distant century event, but a process already underway. The 20-centimeter rise since the early 20th century is a harbinger of what comes next. In this way, the rising sea acts as both a mirror and a metronome, a mirror reflecting our past emissions and a metronome ticking the minutes until thresholds are crossed. The world must prepare not just for coastal resilience, but for coastal reinvention. The future of human settlement, culture, and global geography is being reshaped by this relentless rising tide.